Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim or Simnaya, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. So, this video, I found this video, and I was like, some people are still, still dying of ignorance because how do people come out to say, spew some bullshit about Africans without even at least when you want to say some certain things, make sure you research to come out to say, not just coming here to say some certain things, And he actually started by saying that our Africans do not have skills, that some of them migrate to Europe or to other countries and they are living on welfare and the rest of it and all that. That even when we migrate or something, that we're not going to go into get job because we are not brilliant and we are also not intelligent to do some certain jobs and all that. And also that we give birth to a lot of kids that at the age of 17 years, Africans have already started giving birth. But then their women start giving birth at 32. You all know there are some lies, all these people lie, and my brain is kind of vibrating right here because is it not the same people that I have lived with, stayed like around with, and all that? It's just how they wake up to stereotype black people or so Africans, most especially, is something that I really found very distasteful, And him also coming out to tell us that we are not skilled. See, I want you all to check around most of all these I know a lot of people are migrating for better lives and all that because, where they're coming from is not like so good enough. And you know what? Let's get into this video.
You in Africa, when you are 20 years old, you have 7 children. In Europe, the age at which a European woman has her first one child is at, on average, around age 32. Because that's how long it takes to earn the money for the mortgage for the house and to get the car and so on. We don't have these things. And also, many Africans coming to Europe will also never have jobs because you don't have skills. You don't have education that we need, right? The problem is you have too many children and they will never have jobs. So all we can do is we can put some on welfare, which is what we're doing. Most Africans coming to Europe don't work. They're on welfare. But if too many Africans come to Europe, we won't be able to afford the welfare.
The problem with some of you egomaniac Europeans is not only that you have been lied to all your life by your parents growing up as a kid, but also you have been fed with a lot of lies from the Western media and these NGOs taking money from you, lying to you they are going to help kids in Africa. Let's start with you saying Africans don't have the skills that you require in Europe. Let's start with your country, Germany. Do you know the amount of Nigerians alone in your field of medicine, tech, even architecture, to the extent even your government is funding organizations like GIZ to bring more skilled workers from Africa to come and save your economy. We know we have colonial education system, while at the same time Africans are still attaining degrees and also acquiring vocational skills. But you don't know that because you are ignorant. You said at the age of 20, Africans already have 7 kids. Does that mean they start having kids at the age of 12 or 13? Listen to yourself. That's another ignorant statement from you. Yes, there are some Africans living on welfare in Europe. But have you also forgotten that when your people were sailing to Africa, not only that they didn't have any skill Africa required, but also they took their uncivilized, barbaric and horrific behaviors to Africa, rape, colonize, enslave, and committed a lot of war crime against Africa and genocide. So if there are some Africans living in Europe because of what your ancestors or your people did to Africa and that is still going on in Africa, I will call that reparation, or another word, karma. It's funny people like you coming online saying all sorts of things about Africa. We are talking about you, a German. Germany being known for the extermination of millions of people. We're talking about Germany, that is being known for a lot of war crimes. We're talking about Germany, the birthplace of Nazi. We're talking about Germany that has been on the wrong side of history repeatedly. And you're here, calling Africans out, saying all sorts of lies about Africa. Some of you, your politicians already know how ignorant you are. That's why they like throwing you a party of ignorance and feed you with stereotypes. Get out.
My family came to Africa in 1685. And the point I'm making is after more than 300 years, Africa has become part of who I am. I'm an African. And I don't want to speak in racial terms, but I'm an African. So that's my family history. We've been people fighting for freedom all our lives. And our fight was not with black people. Our fight was with the British colonial power. I can give you my family history. That's why I'm writing that screenplay. That was against British imperialism.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You came to African land, used African resources, enslaved African people for your benefit. Okay? You fought the British to institute Dutch nationalism. I'm not going to call it Afrikaner nationalism because Afrikaners are people of color. So you fought the British and then lost, somehow reached an agreement, and then got to install Dutch nationalism and further oppressed Africans. So from the time that the Dutch arrived here and the British arrived here, their only focus was on enriching themselves, those who came before them, and those coming after them who look and sound like them. But you want to be called African. Now, apart from the fact that you will never be African and the only way you can be classified as African is via a document, you aren't European either. Because there was no assimilation with anything African. And you forfeited almost everything European. The only heritage you have is that fight that you speak about, which is being a settler. That's the only identity you have, and the only one you can assimilate with. Because what kind of African looks at colonialism as a positive thing? What kind of African looks at statues of these slave owners and oppressors and sees themselves in that? What kind of African chooses the West and whiteness every single time over the real Africans that are right next to them? Take your European abandonment issues up somewhere else.
So this is all I got from this, and it's really sad how these people wake up to, like, stereotype black people, not just stereotype Africans, right? Now let's talk about this. I really want to be, he said in Africa, when we are 17 years, we'll start giving birth. I don't know where to start from this, but if we look at people that give birth, most especially from 17 years, palm-colored people are one of them. 15, 16 years, they are straight up having kids and all that. And he actually went ahead to lie that it is from 32 years that they start giving birth. Bro, you are lying. You are lying. I don't know who is feeding them off like that. Number one is that one thing I detest about some certain people is that it's hard for them to make research, or probably internet is all over everywhere. You can just press type something to find out some certain things about if it's, but then when he says Africa, why is it like Africa is a continent? We need to know where the particular Africa he's talking about, because he cannot bring Africa and generalize and say that that we don't, like, who said that they don't have skills? I am sorry to say this, but the reality is that go to most of the European countries, black people are the ones repping all over Africa, Ghanaian, Nigerian, Africans, doctors, nurses, social work, a lot of them, they are so skilled. I am not saying that, but they are really very skilled. And especially where I come from, right? Degree is something we value so much. You probably might be the poorest, I don't know how to say it, but you probably might not. But what people try so hard to do is they try as much as they can to send their kids to school. It is something that we take pride. I don't know if it's pride, but it's just something that happens. I don't know how they do it, but they just do it, right? So saying that Africans, because that is in general, Africans do not have skills. That's why we depend on them. See, bro, if there is anybody getting welfare from any country or this thing, I mean, all the best with it, because they stole a lot from us and they are still stealing and the rest of it. So if you are lucky to be getting welfare and all that, man, continue getting that welfare, because you are getting back part of your money that they owe you. So do not even feel bad about it. This one, a lot of them just come out on the internet to just, who said that Africans coming to Europe will never have job? Look around, go around. I am sure this person saying this, he probably did not see the forward. I am saying that school is not everything and all that. Some people are not even supposed, everybody must not be in school. But this person stereotyping people that look like me now is saying that we do not go to school, we do not have skills and all that. Probably this person did not even finish high school. Or, and he's out here trying to tell me what to do and what to say and what not to. Is that one not white privilege already? It is white privilege. It is very sad that they wake up to come and talk about people that look like me without even thinking about, without even knowing a lot about us and all that, but they just want to talk because they can't talk. Yes. Many Africans come to Europe, and I am happy a lot of people are migrating. If you are able to migrate, migrate. If you get a job, start something, doing and keep doing it, because I don't want to keep saying it. If only it is what they took from here that they used. I really do blame our government. What they took from here that they used in stabilizing their countries and all that. So if you are opportunity to be there, make it, come back home too, right? Because we are still the ones feeding them. I am sure if Africans cut off so many ties with them and the rest of it, they are really going to go crazy. They are going to beg for food. Because since we met them, what have we really achieved? Still running in circle and the rest of it. Everything we have, everything. So what is he even talking about? Bro, go sit down or stop all this NGO that come on television. I mean, all this social media propaganda they do. I mean, they tell you come and donate $1. We are taking it to Africa. They make it look like people in Africa, this is how they say it. They are suffering. When you eat something, they will kind of even try to tell you that, do you know there are kids in Africa that cannot even drink water, that cannot get food to eat, stop wasting food. The way they do, even some of them think that we'll live on trees. People in Africa live on trees, live on huts. We do not have internet, access to internet, so many things, but it's really very sad that they've decided to live shallow, like their shallow mind is kind of so tiny that they do not even want to expand it. And for the man that said that his family came to Africa in 1668 or whatever he said, that he's I am really very tired of waking up to hear them say that he is African. I am African, bro. How are you African? Because I don't know, really. The whole thing is just a mess, I still want to remind you guys that when you all talk about Africa, Africa is a continent. Tell us where you are from in Africa, at least to enable us understand that you are from a particular place, because you can't come from the whole continent in Africa. You can't be from Ghana, Sierra Leone, Libya. Just tell us where you are from, and where your family migrated, and where your family is occupying. I mean, to enable us understand you more, because I am really getting tired of you all BS and all that. Claiming there are Africans and the rest of it, but all the best to you all. I mean, see you all in my next video. Bye for now.